Hey there, my friends. Happy Sunday to you, or whenever it is that you're watching this video. Just want to say hey, and I hope you guys are having a great, peaceful afternoon. I'm still recovering, but I actually ended up watching a testimony by Todd White. He's an awesome preacher. I actually posted it on my Facebook page recently. It's an incredible 15-minute testimony about an experience he had with a young man in a guitar shop or a music shop. So that was pretty awesome. And even though I'm down low on my energy, for some reason, of course, when it has anything to do with God, amen, I always seem to find some energy to come on and talk with you guys, or to fulfill some purpose, or to do something. So I am just hopping on because I was reading Gift of the Red Bird, and I have been for quite some time now. And I was in, and for you who are popping on that don't know, it's a spiritual encounter, which is a true story about a woman who lost her husband and her daughter when they were all in a car crash, and she had survived the accident later on to have another child from the husband that she lost, but then going through this recovery and the spiritual awakening and stuff that she was going through. So if any of you who are on now don't know what Gift of the Red Bird is, all the videos are on YouTube or on my page. You can find a link there. But either way, so she is in the day two of her vision quest, when she went out into the woods by herself for the first time, to go on a vision quest. So that's where she was, and she was encountering that storm. So that was on day 2 of her vision quest, and the storm was moving in, and that was in the middle of Tuesday, because she went there on Sunday, and now it's Tuesday. So I'm going to pick up when someone from the lodge came out there to find her to see if she needed some to be taken to cover. But she was getting ready to so the tornado started moving. Well, the tornado or bad weather started moving in. So I don't want to go on and lose you guys, because my mind is still kind of all over. So I'm having on to read, continue reading chapter 5 for you in Gift of the Red Bird, and you can see this is all we have left now. So I'm going to try and finish out the rest of Tuesday. We'll see what happens. We're nearing the end of the book, so I'm going to pick up Gift of the Red Bird, because the rest of my own personal talking is not coming out making a whole lot of sense to me anyway right now. I hope it's making better sense to you. I just hope that you guys are having an awesome day, and I hope that this reading is enjoyable to you. So much good insight in here. So I'm going to start reading this now, continuing chapter 5, Gift of the Red Bird. I really don't want to interrupt your time here, he says, but if the creek and the river rise in the storm, you will be completely cut off, and no one could rescue you even if they wanted to. As he talks, the lightning and thunder are dancing around us. My heart has wrapped itself around the word tornado, and I feel like I'm choking. What I want to do is jump in his truck and watch the storm from safety of his home, or wherever he takes me. But if I do that, I know I'll never return to this wilderness and finish out my quest. For several moments I struggle with my fear, and yet my sense of God's call. I just love how this story is so relative to our daily life, and it's just incredible. I am, after all, in a $35 nylon tent surrounded by trees. Finally, I hear this voice, strangely like mine, proposing a compromise. I know there is an empty bunkhouse 3/4 of a mile away, and I announce that I will go there. This decision seems halfway between giving up and being crazy. The thunder is increasingly fierce, so I grab water, my journal, and a flashlight, and let Ken drive me to the bunkhouse. Once there, I ask him, what is the safest thing to do if a tornado comes? He tells me to pull a mattress on top of me and jump into the shower stall at the end of the room. How will I know a tornado is approaching? I ask. I sound so calm, as if I'm asking for directions to City Hall. Well, Ken says, you usually don't know. That's the problem. But if you hear the wind start to roar like the sound of a train, that's a fair warning. I thank him and say goodbye, listening until I hear his truck reach the other side of the river and drive out of the canyon. Then the enormity of my decision really fills me. All help is gone, and I know, as never before, that I am all alone in this canyon. I find it ironic today how I have my Keep It Comin' Infinity hiking shirt on from Tennessee. It's kind of ironic, huh? I sit down on the edge of a bunk, suspiciously eyeing the floor for spiders. Now I know I'm mentally ill. I'm alone in the woods, possibly in the path of 2 tornadoes, and I'm still nervous about a bug. I think of the hymn, How Great Thou Art, and the verse, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder. What am I doing here? Fears race ahead of me. Is Beth okay? That's her daughter. I picture her trusting smile, and in the moment feel unable to protect either of us. Adrenaline surges through my body. I consider my 2 days in the wilderness so far. The days have passed slowly, but have been serene. I have been taught lesson after lesson about the creatures in God's kingdom. Where are these friends now? Are the animals safe? Are they afraid like I am? Where will a small red bird go in this fury? Rain lashes at the windows and the wind is howling. I understand that if anything happens to one of these creatures, it also happens to me. We have been living in communion. I beg God to let the redbird be safe. The storm worsens. A whippoorwill cries out with a piercing trill. Her song cuts through all the other chilling night noises. The animals screeches and the wind rain and the thunder make the night feel wild. The lightning bolts are constant now, and this has all happened within the space of 1 hour. I think of a loved one who is dying from bone cancer. Is this how he feels? Caught up in a fury? Life changed without notice? His gentle God vanishes, and all around is darkness and silence. Where are you, God, in this storm? I ask out loud. Where are you when illness comes? What makes a gentle God suddenly change? How can it seem safe to believe in you when cancer roars through your body and eats your bones? And how can it be safe to follow you and depend on you when the wind is so fierce and the sounds so frightening? Where are you, God? Why can't I feel your presence anymore? Silence. I feel betrayed. I remember this feeling when Roy and Sarah were killed. I remember trying so hard to find God when only darkness was showing. God, why do you ask us to love you in the dark? I keep listening for a train roar. I already have a mattress in the shower, ready. The bunkhouse is creaking and I'm so scared I'm shaking. What if the trees start crashing down? What if the windows blow in? There is no sense of God, no sense of my usual faith. All I can feel is the storm. I feel abandoned. Then I hear a question, deep within me, spoken into the night. Paula, can you trust me when you do not feel my presence? Can you trust me when there is no reassurance? Can you believe when you don't understand my ways? Can you get yourself still and just know that I am there? The question overpowers everything. The storm within me becomes quiet, and somehow I know that this is the question I have come into the wilderness to answer. What is greater, my fear or my faith? Whom or what do I trust most deeply? Do I want my own way, or do I really want God? I sit for a long while in my inner stillness. I have never experienced anything like the force of this raging wind. The walls seem ready to blow out at any second. Hail the size of a fist pelts the window panes. The sounds are unearthly. But God's question is posed with greater force. Who am I, really? Am I His, or am I pretending? Can I trust whatever circumstances surround me? What do I really think? Am I safe, or am I not? And quietly, in the midst of the chaos of the night, I find a place of truth at the very core of me. I trust God. I sit for a long while in the silence of that knowing. If I blow away and die tonight, or live and am protected, I am equally safe. At the core of me is God, I say out loud, like a prayer. At the core of me is God. Suddenly I see the fury of the night as startling and beautiful. I am humble right to my knees, but this time not from fright, but from reverence. I see the same storm through new eyes. I bow my head. Majestic, mysterious God, Great Spirit, which moves through all things, I will never know you fully. I will always be learning to love you, but you are love. I am sure of that. I believe that behind all fury is love. I do not see it or feel it right now, but I trust it is there, and for a long moment, I let the trust fill me. The storm continues. I am increasingly unafraid, but as the air changes, I am suddenly shivering with cold. I jump and strain and manage to pull down a dingy window curtain. Pulling it over me, I lie down on the bunk, sliding my journal under my head for a pillow. I have nothing else. I hear the storm, but I breathe deeply and fall into a child's sleep. Nothing disturbs me. I know I am safe. At dawn, I awaken and listen. The storm has passed. The danger is over. I am still shivering with cold, needing a warm sweatshirt. I hope my pack and tent can be found. But nothing will take precedence over running back to the river and waiting in the spot where the redbird comes. The woods have taught me that we are all connected as one. Slowly, I put back the window curtain and remove the mattress from the shower stall. Wherever the tornadoes decide to spin, no hair on my head was touched. I pick up my journal, flashlight, and water, and push open the creaky bunkhouse door. As I'm about to step out, a flash of color at my foot startles me. And I look down. There on the doorstep, waiting, is the red bird. Tears spill from my eyes, and I can barely breathe. How could he possibly know where to find me, or that this very doorstep is mine? We look at one another for a while. The force of this winged being's presence can never be expressed in words that I know how to shape. But in spite of that, I do not doubt the moment's power or its meaning. The bird and I understand. The storm was one display of power, his waiting for me another. Such a moment, a gift. I begin the walk back to my spot and hopefully my tent. I have been touched by a power and a tenderness which have thoroughly changed me. I know I must still look like me, but truly I will never be the same. I walk slowly down the dirt path, and I am new. That was on Tuesday, and we're moving into Wednesday. In 48 long hours, I have come to know these woods and its creatures. I realize that this quest is almost over. One more day and night. Yesterday, I longed for this to be finished. Now, inexplicably, I feel like weeping. I know the place at the creek bed where the deer like to cross. I know the circling pattern of the buzzards, and when their patterns change, like today, I understand that nature is changing. I know the trees where my red bird loves to sing. I know the sounds of the evening and the panicked sounds of the four-legged and winged creatures. Flies have guided and comforted me. I have been accepted into the habitat. When I leave tomorrow and then return again someday, will these creatures remember me? I feel safe with these beings. Who will understand this connection I feel? My little tent survived the storm, sturdy and strong, but the effects of the wind are everywhere. One jug of water tipped over inside the tent, leaving quite a puddle. I say to myself, I would have been safe if I'd stayed here. I wonder if I should have stayed. I'll never know. I did what seemed right at that time. I tried not to make staying more important than listening to my own heart. Listening to my own heart was what I came out here to do. Strangely, I do not feel hungry or weary today. I feel strong. The day is quiet, almost reverent. It is almost as if the day knows I'm preparing myself for an important ceremony. And it is preparing too. I am deeply grateful to nature, which has protected me, instructed me, and watched out for me. It seems to me now even more ludicrous than it always did that we measure off land by plots and think we really own pieces of the earth. I now see that we can pound in hundreds of property stakes and fill file drawers with deeds. But no piece of earth has ever been owned by anyone but God. Even if I pick up a rock and take it home with me, it won't be mine. The canyon is different today, still like me. Perhaps it prays too, preparing itself for my vigil. I will not sit up alone. I haven't seen one fly and very few insects. The buzzards are perched in the trees, not circling. No birds. Even the red bird has been absent since I saw him this morning. I'm trying hard not to be sad. It's much cooler. I'm wearing long pants and a sweatshirt and a wind parka. The scorching heat is a memory. Nature is showing me all her faces, and the frequency and ease with which she changes. The birds and insects understand and move with her. I think of what it's usually like for me to change. Only the bee hasn't quit his normal pattern. He's so focused and determined. I think he's still drone after death. What I do see today is butterflies. They have circled me and followed me since early morning. Butterflies are everywhere. I know the butterfly is a symbol of resurrection. Do they know their significance? And are they waiting for death of my old self tonight and the resurrection of someone new? I drink some water and look hard at my canyon and beloved river. And suddenly, as I'm watching, everything begins to change. It feels as if I'm witnessing a scene change. The sun slowly appears for the first time all morning. Clouds roll back. The birds return, except for the red bird, who is still out of sight. The insects find a voice and begin to call to one another. I have no words for the sight before me, this coming to life of the canyon, the glory of it. Is this how it will be for me one day? Are they showing me? A hawk takes flight, and I have never seen anything so beautiful. Afternoon. I have waited for the red bird to appear for hours. I want him to join me. Then it occurs to me that he is a gift. I remember what I've learned. I don't want to diminish his light by filling my own hands. I whisper to his invisible spirit, "Sorry, I'm still learning. Be where you are, be free, and go." As I say go, he appears, dropping close to my feet than ever before. He dances and struts on a rock, showing off his fancy feathers. Then, with sublime grace, he flies off above the trees, a burst of red in the sky. Evening. My heart is pensive. How will I go back to living and yet still remember? How will I contain both worlds at the same time? I sit on a stone and thank the river and canyon and everyone for giving me so richly. It seems as if it will be a beautiful night. The sky is blue and clear, with only scattered clouds. I sit so peacefully. I finally run out of things to think. I'm learning to be. This has been a harder process than I could have ever imagined. I've never before spent time solely with the inside of me. It was hard work to get to this quiet place. Tomorrow, it will be absolutely wonderful to have food and a book and especially clean clothes and a shower. What joy it will be to get to Lodestar and then to see people. I want to be hugged and held. It will have a meaning it never did before. Today's sunset is simply stunning. The light on the canyon so soft and the river very still. The trees touch one another but hardly move. The rocks wait for the night. Cactus blossoms are closing and the air is serene. I'm so blessed. God has given me beauty, gifts, richness, power, fury, majesty, and right now, peace. If I go back home and forget all I have learned, it is not so much myself that I feel I will be letting down. It is them, the flies and the bee, the river and the redbird, all of them who have worked so hard to open my heart and expand my sight. I've never lived inside of my own wilderness before, and they are the only companions to that world that I have. They are my sole witnesses. How will I explain to my human world that these creatures have unerringly and purposefully been my teachers? That all the God's creatures knows the way to the kingdom. People will think I'm crazy. I will too. I would too if I hadn't been here. But it happened to me, and its truth is in me. I go now to prepare for my night vigil. I put my journal away. I honor the meaning of the night by recording it only in my memory and my heart. I think I'm going to stop reading there today, you guys. So we just have a tiny bit left of Gift of the Red Bird. I don't know about you, but I think even right now with what she was saying, there's so much like right now in our lives that we can relate to what she's saying in the story. It's so amazing. And I just love that it's not a made up story, it's a true story. So I hope that for those of you watching, that you truly enjoyed that reading and it brought you something good, and I can relate to so much of it. So I always trust and know that when I'm reading here that someone is receiving the message that they're meant to be receiving through these sharing experiences. So I am exhausted. I'm exhausted in my illness, and but like I said in the beginning, it's interesting. I watched that short testimony by Todd White that I just posted on my Facebook page because it's so amazing. And after that, I had the energy, and all I wanted to do was come and share some more of the story with you. So I hope that you're enjoying the story, and if you haven't, heard the other parts of the story, it's all there on my YouTube, so you can scroll and find some videos on my Facebook page, and it'll link you up to my YouTube or whatever. But either way, thank you so much for being here. I need to go lay down and rest, so I thank God for this time that I got to spend with you right now, and sending peace and healing and love to you guys. And gosh, if anybody is out there that's not feeling well and that's sick, who's probably a lot worse than even that I am, and probably can't even have a conversation with people, I'm sending much healing and prayers, sending so much healing to you guys. And be still, right? Be still, and let your body rest and recharge, and know that God has you. See you guys soon, if not for something else, but also for finally finishing out chapter 5 of Gift of the Redbird. Maybe the rest of the book, who knows? Who knows what tomorrow will bring? But I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Peace and love. Thank you for your peace and grace and understanding when I can't find my words sometimes when I make my videos, but so fatigued. So thank you for your graces, and I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Peace and love and light. Thank you for being here with me.